p.m., immediately following the debate. Broadcast live here on KBLA Talk 1580. There will be a live panel discussion. Refreshments will be served and seating is limited. So RSVP right away at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
In the 1960s, the U.S. government was losing a lot of its top secret information, and they couldn't find out how. Well, through a quirk of fate, actually, they found out that it was because the Russians were using psychic spies. Well, everybody had a good laugh over that, but then somebody reminded them, yeah, but they're getting our information. So they wisely decided that if the Russians have it, and if it's working for them, then maybe we'd better look into it. So they formed a contract with a research group at Stanford Research Institute International to find out whether or not intuition can be used for espionage purposes, for spying. Come to find out it can. The researchers at Stanford settled on a methodology called controlled remote viewing, invented by a man named Ingo Swann. They developed it into a viable military application, and once they did, a long series of projects started, which the public now knows as Stargate. I won't go into the history of Stargate. Suffice it to say that we collected intelligence on military leaders, governmental leaders, plans and intentions for the next day of battle, and for such things as finding and rescuing hostages in hostage situations. Anyway, at the end of these projects in 1996, the CIA effectively declassified the fact that the government had been using controlled remote viewers for collecting intelligence. Once that became public knowledge, then the science, which never was, by the way, classified, became available to the public. when the information became public that the U.S. government had used remote viewers for espionage purposes and that it was scientifically acceptable, psychics of all kinds decided this is scientifically acceptable, and so we're going to start calling what we've always done remote viewing. And immediately out across the internet, you started getting remote viewers of all different kinds who basically had no idea what remote viewing was. Remote viewing is a science, nothing more. Basically, you might use the analogy that if being psychic is a vacation, controlled remote viewing is the car that gets you there. It's not going to give you more scenery once you get there. It's just a tool. It gets your intuitive ability to be put to use in a controlled, organized fashion and allows you to use what intuitive ability you have. There are a lot of people out on the internet saying that if you take remote viewing courses from them, it'll make you psychic. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's a tool. Whatever psychic ability you have, it will teach you how to use it. A lot of people are surprised at what abilities they do have, but it's a tool. That's all it is. There's no magic. It will not make you psychic. It's a tool, and it's a science.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason returns to KBLA Talk 1580. As you can tell, man, this is an X-File tonight. I don't mind pushing the envelope. We know this is a relationship. Yes, I just go ahead. Mulder and Scully about to walk in here and question me. I know, but I like pushing the envelope, right? This is a relationship show. However, when you have psychologists saying that we are connecting to each other on a psychosomatic level and central nervous systems, right, are relating to each other and our childhood wounds are relating to us, and then you flip over to attachment theory with John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth and others et al. They'll say that these wounds, or insecure attachment wounds are attached or attracted to each other. Very interesting stuff. And so I began to think, because Western science doesn't deal in the schizotypal, the magical thinking, the spiritual thinking. But I began to delve into that and say, well, if we're connected physically, emotionally, psychologically, behaviorally, we're only one is missing. We might be connected psychically, And I just wanted to bring in somebody who has the intellectual strength, fortitude, and backing and background to be able to help us. Yes, because we're seeing this kind of talk all over the place. People talking about, this is the 3D, and I'm going to meet you in the 5D. And I'm like, I need somebody who understands remote viewing. And we're going to get so deep into this. Let me just introduce my special guest. All right? He's a part of something called the Institute of Noetic Sciences. IONS, right? His name is Dean Radin, MS, PhD. He is chief scientist at the Institute of Noetic Sciences and associated distinguished professor of integral and transpersonal psychology at the California Institute of Integral Studies, CIIS. Okay? His original career track as a concert violinist shifted into science after earning a BSEE degree in electrical engineering, magna cum laude. Go ahead, give him his love, give him his props. He deserves it. And with honors in physics from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, and then an MS in electrical engineering and a PhD in psychology from the University of Illinois. Urbana campaign. If you know anything about Illinois, you know about the city of Urbana. This is a heavy brother. I want to bring him on. Dean Radin. My brother Dean, get in here. We want to talk to you.
I'm here.
Hey, how are you? I'm glad you were able to make it tonight.
Yep.
So can we talk a little bit about remote viewing? What is it? And are there any practical uses for it with regards to intimate relationship? Like, can I know something about my partner? You understand what I'm saying? I'm really interested in what it is. Can we get deep into that?
Well, the opening segment that you have, or I don't know who was talking about Stargate, but what he was saying was correct. So it's remote viewing is just a modern euphemism for clairvoyance.
Ah. And do we all have clairvoyance, clairaudience? I'm sure there's a bunch of clairs, right? Do we all have
Yep.
this ability, and how can we, deepen it?
I think every sentient creature, not just humans, but animals too, have the capacity for this kind of connection, because it's not exactly a talent.
Right.
In other words, when somebody is psychic, it's not as though it's falling out of the sky and they have a special gift, except that it's similar in some ways to ordinary talent, sports talent, musical talent, that kind of thing.
So some people are more talented than others. Like some athletes are more athletic than others. Some athletes are more skilled than others. This applies to remote viewing.
Right. And so you can take any random person and bring them through a training program, as the man said in the opening segment, and they will get better at what they're doing. They won't necessarily become world class, because that really does take a certain amount of talent.
Right. So let me ask the question, are there any benefits for intimate relationship? I mean, you have your PhD in psychology, and you understand that most childhood wounds come from that early attachment style, whether it's secure versus the 3 insecure versions of it. Is there any benefit for developing this? Like, for instance, say a person has developed, this clairvoyant ability. Do they get kind of like a sneak peek or a peek behind the person's mask that they're dealing with, the Jungian mask? Can it be a benefit in that way?
Well, I would say yes and no. So the yes part is that, yes, you can discover things about an intimate partner, which may be useful. But on the negative side, you may discover things that you didn't want to know, or more importantly, that they didn't want you to know.
Yes.
So like any form of information, especially this kind, which is able to pull from the unconscious, it's a power. It's an informational power, and it could be good, but maybe not.
So what are the ethics involved? Is it a breach of privacy if one partner is skilled in that way and they can tap in and see things? And would that be, almost breaking trust, so to speak, being able to look beyond the veil?
Yes, absolutely. It would be a violation of trust unless the other person gives you permission. And by the way, the same can be said for somebody who happens to be a really good psychic healer. So if you hear that somebody is ill, and you know that you could cure them or help them from a distance, you really need their permission. Like you may want to help them in some way, but you need their permission before you do that, because otherwise it is a violation of their own sovereignty.
Of their own self-sovereignty. Such a powerful notion. Hey, this is the topic tonight. My special guest, Dean Radin, MS, PhD. I want to give all the letters. Listen, we're about to get even deeper into this topic. Tonight's topic, psychic security. An intriguing look into the process of establishing healthy relationship boundaries with someone who is ESP sensitive or skilled in the practice of remote viewing. When I tell you we're going to be on complete fire tonight, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. When I come forward, more from Dean Radin.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Tabitha Smiley's new book, The Covenant with Black America, 20 years later, is now on sale everywhere. This classic text shot to #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list almost 2 decades ago. If you have the original book, you will surely want to get this 20th anniversary edition with powerful new contributions from today's leading voices. This 20th anniversary edition presents a compelling blend of historical insights and contemporary urgency in this critical and unprecedented election year. Get your copy of The Covenant with Black America 20 years later today. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
So you're having my baby, and it means so much to me. There's nothing more precious than to raise a family. If there's any doubt in your mind,
Have you ever felt like you were being watched or monitored by someone or something, even when you were completely alone? Perhaps you've noticed strange occurrences happening frequently, especially when you are about to achieve something major in life. While this may sound like paranoia to some, the truth is that there are real demonic entities assigned to monitor and obstruct you. These monitoring spirits are on a mission to gather information and formulate schemes to stop you from fulfilling your God-given destiny. In this eye-opening video, we will uncover the unsettling truths about monitoring spirits. You'll learn how to identify their presence, break free from their assignments over your life, and walk in the authority that Jesus Christ purchased for you through his finished work on the cross. To understand monitoring spirits, we first need to define what monitoring means. To monitor something is to observe and check its progress or quality over a period of time. When we talk about monitoring spirits, we're referring to demonic entities that have been assigned to continually watch, track, and guide.
I have to use these clips because the average person doesn't know the technical term of remote viewing. But in church, in religious groups and religious communities, someone who might be remote viewing you, if they had that particular skill set, would be considered to be a monitoring spirit. How do monitoring spirits differ from individuals who possess psychic abilities, extrasensory perception, ESP, or remote viewing skills? And in the initial clip that we played at the beginning of the show, there was a distinction between someone who claims to be a psychic and someone who has been trained in remote viewing. This is very interesting stuff. Would you consider dating a psychic, a medium, a prophet or prophetess? If so, how would you safeguard your privacy from their inherent gifts or acquired abilities? What distinguishes a naturally gifted psychic from someone trained in the technique of remote viewing? What healthy boundaries should be established in a relationship with a partner who is ESP sensitive? Now, my guest, Dean Radin, just said it's a violation of trust if you have a skill set that can lend you the ability to look into the private thoughts and intentions of your significant other. And so tonight we talked about psychic security, because I do believe we are connected in more ways than psychology has been able to define. Dean, your thoughts on the clip that we just played and the questions that I rattled off?
Yeah, I thought that your response was actually quite good, that the idea that there are spirits or something watching you. In the laboratory, we've tried to study phenomena like, are there independent entities? And so in the laboratory, the only way we can do that, I mean, there are a lot of stories about these things, but when we go to the lab, we create a controlled experiment. So the only kind of controlled experiment that we can do so far is with mediumship. So these are, of course, people who claim that they can communicate with departed loved ones or other kinds of entities. And in the lab, what we can do is verify that the information that they get, let's say you want information about your dead Uncle Bob. Mm-hmm. Well, a good medium can contact Uncle Bob, their experiences, if that's who they're talking to, and they can ask questions and get information from Uncle Bob, which later can be verified that are correct. And so when you do this in the laboratory context, you make sure that the medium actually never meets the client, right? So the client is the one who wants information about Uncle Bob, but in the lab, if you allow the medium to see that person, then there's a bunch of techniques like cold reading,
yes,
where the medium might be able to pick up information depending on how the person's body language and face responds. So you have something called a proxy sitter. Is simply somebody in the laboratory who sits in for the client so that the medium can talk to a person in front of them. But the person in front of them, the proxy, they don't know anything about Uncle Bob. So cold reading won't work.
So it's almost
nevertheless,
like
a good medium.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue, please.
Nevertheless, a good medium only needs to know like a name, Bob. Connect to Bob. And somehow the medium could do that. They'll get information, and then later it can be checked. And as I said, good mediums can get genuine information, but that doesn't actually tell us that they were in communication with an entity that was actually Uncle Bob. So the alternative is that they're very good at clairvoyance. Maybe they've had remote viewing training, maybe not, but they're very good at getting information, which is what a remote viewer can do. And the information can be correct, in which case we don't know. We know that it's possible to get the information, but we really don't know where it comes from. So from a scientific perspective, at this point, we can't say with any confidence that there are such things as entities.
Right. Oh, this is heavy. This is heavy. I can't wait. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to bring some callers in, because maybe there are some callers that have questions for the great brother Dean Radin. We really appreciate his time. You know, it's late where he is right now, but he's here with us right now. If you have a question for him, I hope it's a good one. When we come forward, we're going to speak to Dean Radin and the callers.
Now our baby is born, healthy and strong. Now our dreams are reality. Forever, my lady. It's like a dream. I'm holding you close, you're keeping me warm. This is ecstasy. Forever, my lady. Forever, my lady. I say just what I mean. And I know forever and ever. I pray it's what I see. Yes, baby. Can you picture my lady? This empty scene. There's no me or no you. What will we do? An awful sight to me. If I ever lose you, tell me where will I go? Life would have no meaning.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Governor Kathy Hochul, who has the power to remove Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams as he reels from a federal indictment, is staying fairly quiet. According to the New York Times, the governor is assessing the charges against Adams and mulling the decision, adding that her number one responsibility is to make sure that the people of the city and the state are served. Ahead of the indictment, Hochul and Adams' allies said she's monitoring the situation, calling it a very serious matter that's been unfolding. 3 Democratic mayoral candidates, several state senators, and city council members are all calling for Mayor Adams to step down. The jury is deliberating the case of a man accused of killing Black Memphis rapper Young Dolph. After closing arguments and jury instructions, the jurors retreated to the deliberation room to determine the fate of defendant Justin Johnson. Johnson and Cornelia Smith are charged with the murder of Adolph Thornton Jr., a.k.a. Young Dolph, in November 2021. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
You're invited to join KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress for a vice presidential debate watch party featuring Governor Tim Walz versus Senator J.D. Vance, Tuesday, October 1st at 6 p.m. immediately following the debate. Broadcast live here on KBLA Talk 1580. There will be a live panel discussion. Refreshments will be served and seating is limited. So RSVP right away at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that, so he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Nah, this can't be true. I got this feeling, and I just can't turn it loose. That somebody's been getting next to you. I don't wanna walk around knowing I was your fool. 'Cause being the man that I am, I just can't lose my cool. My friends keep
A lot, I mean, come on. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, dude, the difference between control and love is very obvious. Is it? Really? Because what is always amazing to me, when we do the post-mortem, when we do the unraveling, when we do the backwards deconstructing of the relationship, people are like, this dude was controlling from like the second date. But what gets very confusing is that fairy tale fantasy, right? You know, think about that. You know, many of you know that there was that time in that early in the relationship, like, is he going to get in touch? Is she going to text me back? Do you think she wants to see me again? And some people will meet someone and they'll say, oh, our first date lasted 36 hours. To which I, as a psychologist, I'm like, oh, no, that's not so good. Okay? Or they'll say, from the day we met, every morning the good morning text, every night the good night text. I don't know what I would do without it. Other twists on this, and a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, is she talking about love bombing? Might be things like, I'd come out to the parking lot after work, and there'd be a rose on my windshield.
Listen, that is the great Dr. Ramani. And, you know, she does a lot of work in narcissism, you know, breaking down NPD and narcissistic traits and covert narcissism and grandiose narcissists. And, you know, can you imagine someone with the remote viewing ability? You're talking about taking narcissism and putting it on steroids. Can you imagine the level of manipulation and control if they could read your mind? If they could access the information within your consciousness? Dean Radin, that would be really scary if that was possible. Is it possible?
I think some people become cult leaders who are able to do something like that.
Ooh, the Jim Joneses of the world. Yeah.
I mean, it would be seen as, within a cult, you look at the leader as somebody who has special powers. And if a person like that has even very mild remote viewing or telepathic ability, they could easily sway people. So, yeah, it would be quite dangerous.
Pastors, because, you know, we hear about spiritual abuse in the churches. And it's not just, I don't think it's just charisma that pull people in, although that is a powerful tool as well with regards to manipulation, articulation, charisma, you know, presence. But if they had the ability to read, that just seems very scary. That seems very scary. Now, I'm going to ask you a quick question, and we're going to go to a caller. But my question is this information available to the public? Can anybody learn how to remote view? And are there practical applications for, say, your daily life or even your relationships that are actually beneficial?
Well, sure. I mean, anything that gives you additional information about your life, your job, relationships, it can be valuable, of course. So what I usually recommend is for people who want to know more about this is to go to a website called IRVA.org. It's International Remote Viewing Association, IRVA.org. And so that's the primary organization for people who are seriously interested in remote viewing, and they occasionally either have links to workshops that are being held, and they list people and books and things like that. So that's a good go-to website.
Amazing. We got callers on the line. Are you ready to talk to a couple?
Sure.
Absolutely. Nazarene X from Atlanta, Georgia is on the line. Nazarene, what are your thoughts, my friend, on tonight's topic?
And this is incredible. Thank you very much for taking my call. Peace and love to you, Brother Dean. Glad to have you. Thank you for offering your voice on the Voice of Reason tonight.
Yeah.
One quick thing tonight. Yeah, one quick thing that comes to mind, and say, especially in the midst of these hurricanes and so forth, in terms of remote viewing or peering through the perceived astral plane and whatnot, in terms of spiritual realms, I personally see kind of a through line in terms of what Scripture would define as the waters, the seas and so forth, the subconscious, the unexplored, and that being akin to an ocean of information that humans are able to tap into or even, say, navigate through, hence the terminology. Yet I'm wondering, potentially in your line of studies, what are, say, 3 disrupting factors in that frequency? Because it seems like we all need to dial into a particular station of possibility within. Like, we might have to believe that we can receive a certain set of insight without explanation and so forth. And I'm wondering if you have anything concrete. What are the disruptors out here that are preventing us from being able to lock into this type of chemistry within one another and with a respectable way?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good question, and you actually gave the primary answer, which is belief. So of the various factors that seem to modulate how well somebody performs with clairvoyance in general or remote viewing, it's the idea you must believe that it is possible. And so the other thing that we see, especially in a laboratory test, is that you need to give yourself permission or you need to give somebody else permission that it's okay. So if you don't believe and you don't feel that you've been given permission from yourself or by somebody else, that could very easily block access to this kind of information.
Oh my goodness, this is heavy because your answer, Dean, is making me think of I would say of the Abrahamic belief system. They have this idea about faith. You got to have faith. And a lot of times that's interchangeable, almost a synonym for belief. You have to have faith that it's already done, right? Now, there are a lot of people out here who may take that too far or who may oversimplify the process. But you saying what you're saying right now as an answer to Nazarene X just drew me back to the church, which is have faith. Is it as simple as that? That's it? Just have faith? Or is there something else we can do to kind of cultivate this inner knowingness, this inner awareness?
Well, you can think of this perhaps as the first step is opening this door is a matter of belief. And I say that mainly because we live in a modern world where people have education in the Western style, and having pure faith in the religious sense is fine, except that we want to have evidence, a reason to believe in something.
Yes.
So being a scientist, when I say you have to believe in something, pure faith doesn't do it. You need something more than just pure faith because somebody said so. You need experience. You need some evidence. You need some reason to be able to believe, because otherwise, it is certainly true that some people can maintain absolute faith in something for no reason other than somebody said you need to believe this.
Wow.
That will still work.
Right.
It'll work, but it can also get you into serious trouble. And again, I'll point back to what happens in cults, where somebody will tell you to believe something, and if you just buy it whole cloth without reasoning about it,
right?
If you're not lucky, you're going to be in trouble.
Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nazarene X, thank you for the call. You brought Atlanta, Georgia in the building. When we come forward, the phone lines are still open. We got another caller on the other side. Dean, we got one more caller before you get out of here. Dean's going to leave at the top of the hour, but he's been on fire. If you want to talk to Dean Radin, get on the phone right now. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV. Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit ca-smp-volunteer.org. Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
Around here, we don't believe in victimhood. We believe in raising our voices, amplifying black voices in the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
I've been watching you for so very long, trying to get my nerve built up to be so strong. I really want to meet you, but I'm kind of scared, 'cause you're the kind of lady with so much class. I get my thoughts together for the very next day.
Hello, passionate listeners. Welcome to Passion Harvest. I am Louisa, your host, International Passion Ambassador. I'm so excited about my guest today. I can't wait to dive into this topic. My guest today is Paul H. Smith. And if you don't know who he is, Paul H. Smith is the longest serving controlled remote viewing CRV teacher active today. Paul served for 7 years in the government's Stargate remote viewing program at Fort Meade. Paul was one of the only 5 Stargate personnel to be personally trained as remote viewers by the legendary founders of remote viewing, Ingo Swan and Dr. Harold Pothoff.
And I want the video to play longer. But we've only got Dean Radin for a few more minutes, and I want him to interact with some of our callers. We got Attila from Houston, Texas on the line. Attila, what is your question for Dean Radin?
I do have two questions. First of all, welcome, Dean. Thank you. But I do have a question. So is it possible to practice remote viewing unintentionally? And the second question is, how do we reconcile our partners' I guess you could say like privacy and independence with our spiritual gifts, but also like our desire to be close to them as well?
Wow.
That's
heavy.
Good questions.
That was heavy, Dean. I'm going to sit back.
Yeah, so can you accidentally become clairvoyant or use remote viewing? Well, the answer is yes, and happens very frequently in dreams. One of the most common reports of psychic phenomena are precognitive dreams. So it's not exactly an accident, except it's also not intentional. So that can certainly happen.
So there's a gray area there. You said it's not intentional, but it's not an accident either. That's very interesting.
Yeah. So the easy way of training that, you can intentionally train so that you go to sleep, and when you wake up, you immediately write down your dream. Because if you don't tend to remember your dreams, you'll forget them pretty quickly. If you have a journal near the bed and you wake up and you immediately write it down, you'll be able to track the kind of dream that turns out to be precognitive, because they have a different quality to them than dreams that are simply an echo of something that happened the previous day. So you can eventually learn how to, and you could even kind of program yourself to have a precognitive dream as you're going to sleep. But again, all of it really does take a journal where you're keeping close track to the dreams that you have from night to night.
Very powerful stuff.
So the second...
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, the second question was about privacy. If somebody is a really, really good remote viewer and they have it under control, they can turn it on and turn it off. Right? And so one of the differences that you see sometimes with somebody who's a natural psychic who doesn't have specific training on how to control this is that they're going to get information, bits and pieces from all over the place, and that's usually not that great for them or anybody else, because, as I said, they don't have much control. Whereas the really good remote viewers that I know, they have learned how to turn it off, because otherwise you get overwhelmed quickly from information from all over the place, and that can make you mentally paralyzed after a while, because you can't tell what's you and what's information from somewhere else. So that's one of the reasons why having some training to learn how to control these things is actually useful.
Wow. Good stuff. Attila, do you have another question? Because if not, we got to push forward. But I know you got another one. Go ahead, Attila.
I mean, that kind of was it. I don't have a whole lot. I guess my only other question would be, how do you identify whether or not someone is safe enough to reveal your gifts to them?
Well, it depends on your gifts. If your gifts are in the direction of remote viewing or magical gifts or things of that sort, your intuition is probably going to be really good. So if you get an intuitive hit that says, I don't think so, then you probably ought to go with that. On the other hand, if the intuitive hit says, this person seems okay, well, then it's probably worth taking a chance.
Good stuff. Attila, guess what you just did?
All right, Houston in the building. Thank you so much.
Houston, Texas is in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Let me wrap it up with Dean real quick. Dean, my listeners, the audience here, they love you. I'm looking at the live chat and the questions that are pouring in. What's the difference between a psychic, a medium, and they're asking all of these really great questions. questions, but we can't get you to all of them. What I would like to do is give the floor to you, and you can tell folks how to connect with you and your work and IONS and everything that you're a part of so that they can start to follow you, because this is amazing stuff. So talk to me.
Well, if you want to send me an email, you can go to the website deanradin.com, and then there's one of the tabs is a contact tab, and I always answer emails. If I get an email that's the equivalent of 400 pages, I probably won't read it.
Right.
But I'll respond to short inquiries, and most of the time what happens is I end up pointing to another source, a website or a book or something like that, which would be a longer answer to somebody's question. Because I know people have gazillions of questions. I've written a bunch of books on this stuff, but I'm always happy to answer an email. And then if you want to know where I work at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, which is noetic.org, noetic.org.
Well, we loved it. We loved you here tonight. We'd love to bring you back sometime soon. We appreciate the information. It was in-depth. It was concise. We appreciate you, Dean, and you're a part of the Voice of Reason family now. So until our next meeting, thank you so much for tapping in and joining the VOR.
It's my pleasure.
All righty. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you already know we've got another hour lined up. I've got people on the line from all over the country: Pasadena, California, Fayetteville, North Carolina. They're getting some rain too, I believe. Chicago, Illinois. When we come forward, the Voice of Reason, I'm going to the phone lines. I want to hear your thoughts on tonight's most in-depth, riveting, passionate, powerful topic.